Beginning of my day as custodians, we sort of open up all of the coops. You'll have some coops with like 1 or 2 birds in, and then you'll have some with maybe like 300, 400 where they've all flocked together and they've all decided to go back into that coop after they've been flown around at night. This is still home for me. I lived here for like 20 years. For the site to actually be used again, because it was quite sad to see how run down it became after the golf course did shut. So it's quite nice to see the site be used again for something creative in a way. It's quite nice for something like this to be here and so the community can sort of come together again.
Just washing out the water bowls, put fresh water in for the birds. Yeah, the lovely colours, beautiful colours. Real nice pigeons. It's a 10-week project and it's been good. Yeah, it's been good. I live in Thamesmead still now. I grew up in Abbey Woods. Yeah, Abbey Woods was a fantastic shoulder I had. Yeah, things have changed, but the regeneration, the station and stuff like that, which is good for the area. I'm glad they're doing like a show for the residents as well as doing shows for the public. Hopefully it leads to more project stuff, other people coming along here and doing things.
I started talking to Lift about 9 months ago, and I'd known about Duke Riley's practice and about his project Fly By Night in New York. And Lift were basically, after very much wanted to bring this project to London and needed to find a riverside location. It's about the cultural identity of Thamesmead. It's got, kilometres of river frontage that is just, this kind of like untapped wilderness. To really kind of like host projects like this. The community is so passionate about the World War history. Before Thamesmead was Thamesmead, it was actually part of the Royal Arsenal.
Growing up in Thamesmead, it wasn't that stereotype for me because I was in the green area, so people think of Thamesmead as being grey and a concrete jungle. What people don't realise is there's a lot of hidden oases. So the interest started really after exploring the Tumps, which at a young age we all used to go into because there was no fences around there. We'd dig in these sort of suspicious areas and you'd find live bullets. Started digging a bit more and you'd find things like grenade shrapnel. I just couldn't believe what I was finding. Every time we went there was something new, so it kept me going back every day through the summer holidays, after school. It was such a big factory. It was 3 miles long and 1 mile wide, so it was quite a big area known as the Secret City because everyone that worked here in World War I, World War II and after had to sign a Secrecy Act. 100,000 people worked for the Arsenal and there were 79,000 people within the Arsenal walls.
To me, when I'm doing a project, the area has to have the right cultural and historical significance. Particularly World War I was a significant point in time where all of these different forms of technology had advanced incredibly fast. All of a sudden we were using airplanes and submarines and poison gas, but communication technology had remained pretty much exactly the same. So that was one of the reasons why pigeons played such a crucial role in that conflict, and I think that that's extremely interesting to think about now because we're in a time where the exact opposite is happening 100 years later, and 100 years is not really that long of a time. The front facades of the coops are meant to resemble these lines of military pigeon coop that were used during World War I. They represent the paint jobs, kind of resemble that of both the British and American style coops that were used. What they would do with these coops after they put these elaborate and beautiful paint jobs on them is then they would then cover them with sticks to camouflage them, so the whole base of the coops is then kind of covered and surrounded by a fortress of branches and sticks that we've been collecting out of the nearby woods for the past couple months.
I guess I am a pigeon trainer, and I have been for probably 5 years, ever since I've been working with Duke. Here we are in the med bay at Fly By Night, and we have various medicines that we treat them with, different antibiotics, eye drops. I mean, it was a goal to start working with Duke. Pigeons came later, and a lot of them came, and I've learned to love them. I have a coop of my own birds, and I have a pigeon that lives in my apartment with me.
It's kind of different every day, based on like what's going on with the birds. It could be like teaching them to go through different traps or easing them into like the night flights. There are like varying breeds that do different things on their own. Like we have birds called rollers, and they'll be flying and then they'll just do like a backflip out of nowhere. Everybody just thinks a bird can fly on its own, but they require good health and muscular structure and everything. So like we make sure that they're developing all that. We've been weight training them with a set of like dummy lights that we make. And so they've been getting used to that for about maybe 3 weeks now.
I think that anyone who spends any amount of time with pigeons falls in love with them immediately. Sometimes the underdogs become your favorites. You know, sometimes obviously there's pigeons that are really extra beautiful, or there's the rollers that do tricks and it's amazing. But there's this one pigeon who, when the flight happens, he's the last one to leave and he'll land immediately and he does not want to fly. Every site has a different feeling, and this one, you know, has been obviously foreign to me and kind of a beautiful thing to learn and feel part of.
I think the piece is similar in some ways to the project I did in New York, but for me it's an entirely different project. They're entirely different birds. They have a different flying style. Visually it's a different experience, and contextually it's a different experience. This project is not a project that comes along quickly.
Clearly it's a huge project, very complex. It takes 3 months for the pigeons to rehearse and train for this show, and so it's really expensive, and so then we set about trying to figure out how to make it work with lots of partnerships. And that's one of the things that LIFT is great at, in terms of London is so big that to enable us to do these projects we need to do them with other people. It's about place, it's about participation, it's about people, and it's about passion, and it's definitely about pigeons.
I think that I'm very detail oriented, and there's, you know, everything from the time that people walk into the gate to when they sit down, when they're experiencing this space as just a sculptural formation before the birds start flying, where then it kind of, I guess, transforms more into almost like a visual animated painting or something, I guess, if you will. I think that everything in that process, I'm thinking about what people are experiencing and what they're absorbing. We fly the birds every night for 3 months out here by ourselves, and we have a lot of time to watch them fly and enjoy them. And I think that towards the end we get really excited though about having the audience there to, sort of react and kind of feel their energy as well. Is definitely a super exciting part of the experience at this point.
My thoughts on the performance was that it was really cool. I loved watching the birds. I think the fact that it was going at dusk and then full night, it was great to see the light shadowing together with the sky going darker. It was brilliant. I'm just mesmerized.
Oh, it's very unique. I've never seen anything quite like that before. wasn't really sure what to expect, to be honest. We just came along, just curiosity, and yes, I was not disappointed. That was really good.